Jake Paul's California mansion has been raided by the FBI, multiple news organizations report. You can see in this aerial footage agents in uniform outside his home in Calabasas. The federal search warrant reportedly stems from an ongoing investigation of alleged crimes.
Is Jake Paul good for boxing?
Nobody gives a bullet.
It's wild to think that these two dudes looking like this not too long ago would go on to fight two of the most respected and accomplished pro boxers of all time. That and Floyd Mayweather, and of course, Mike Booty Cheeks Tyson. Jake Paul said that it was during an ayahuasca trip in Costa Rica where he saw the vision of him putting together the biggest boxing event of all time 2 years before what we saw on Netflix.
The whole thing, like this all started with God in ayahuasca, where I saw the vision of millions and millions of people watching through their screens of me fighting Mike Tyson.
Fast forward to today, and only 5 years into being a professional boxer, Jake El Gallo Paul is 12 fights in, 11 wins strong, and is arguably one of the most controversial figures in all of sports.
A lot of the neighbors are complaining. They're very upset.
No, why?
Is he a fraud like some of y'all saying? Are his fights manufactured? Does he actually stand a chance to become an actual world champion someday? We back with another one. It's your boy Dela Cruz, aka Mr. What's Your Hustle, and welcome to the best boxing show on social media, the weekly What's Your Hustle Wrap-Up. Getting straight to it. I get it. The YouTuber that went from making videos like these,
Table for two?
Oh, is your mother in town?
What?
it's easy to throw some hate on. I mean, we've never seen anything like it. In just his second pro fight ever, Jake Paul took on one of the most athletic athletes of our generation in Nate Robinson, and literally mopped the floor with dude.
He's singing the hymns. He's trying to get that ring.
Around that time is when the hate really came on strong.
I don't know if he's in his prime. He's fat.
Get this white boy out of boxing.
He's fat and funky.
He's turning the sport into a joke.
I'm not fat.
It goes on and on. But the new energy Jake Paul is bringing to boxing is a movement we've seen before in business. In business, when introducing an innovative idea, it generally goes through 3 phases. First one is resistance. Many people resist the idea of something new and innovative due to the fear of change or lack of understanding. You get past that, and now we're in the testing phase.
Got the paddock on my wrist, doing front flips, giving you my number, but
Early adopters start to test the new idea's viability and provide feedback. We see what's working and what's not. Third and final phase is widespread adoption and integration. This is when we see the benefits and the idea gains wider acceptance. This is when we realize, you know what? This is kind of lit. Jake Paul, to me, is currently working through the second phase of innovation.
got the paddock on my wrist, doing front flips, giving you my number, but
He's overcome the general resistance and distaste and is now beginning to convince some of the old guard. He's beginning to prove his worth in the real sport of boxing, surpassing the influencer side, or what some people like to call the circus side of boxing. Yes, he may by default have already had the necessary backing to get there. He may, by being the celebrity that he is, have been able to expedite his rise in boxing. But in my opinion, he's the best thing to happen to the sport in some time. And to those that choose to dismiss Jake Paul's place in boxing, I think y'all just lack a little vision. To date, Jake Paul's boxing promotional company, Most Valuable Promotions, has signed and put on 5 female fighters, essentially putting on just as many women as they are men. They've been behind making it so that women in boxing are beginning to earn as much as their male counterparts, with the first bout between Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor in 22 being the first time in women's boxing that both fighters earned over $1 million in one fight. That grew to a reported $6 million per fighter for their second bout on Netflix last year, and is sure to break the 8-figure mark for their third fight just announced for this summer. Maybe I'm pocket watching, but that information, together with the recent signing of undisputed champion Alicia the Bomb Gardner, and we may be witnessing the best thing to ever happen to women's boxing. Amanda Serrano was already one of the most decorated women in boxing before Jake Paul promoted her fight with Katie Taylor in 2022, But Jake Paul made her into a star. The platform she gained made her a global role model to young girls. It's showing people that there's another path available if you put in the work. And with the way the Bomb Gardner is coming,
The coldest, the baddest, the sexiest boxer alive, the bomb. Y'all see what time it is. Gotta go, bitch.
we already have another star in the making. Another critique Jake Paul is regularly hit with is who he ultimately chooses to fight. A quick search online reveals that most of the guys he's fought till now were just as new to boxing as he was at the time. Some crossing over from other sports. That's a fair take. But as a boxing fan, this idea of cherry-picking opponents is rampant among even our elite boxers as well. Highly touted prospects are brought up all the time, usually showing a promising amateur career or something of the sort, and they're handheld through their first 10 or 15 fights. Let's build that undefeated record. Let's get your feet wet. Let's build your brand and your presence. Is that so much different than what Jake Paul has done in his first 11 fights? He's been boxing for 5 years, averaging 3 fights a year since 2022. I'd argue that Jake Paul is more active than a lot of y'all fighters. Some guys, we're lucky if we get 1 fight a year. Let's put what Jake Paul may or may not accomplish in the sport aside and focus in on the eyes he's bringing to the sport. I say it all the time, and I'll say it again. We don't pay to watch the Super Bowl. We don't pay to watch the FIFA World Cup. Boxing is the only sport historically that charges you anywhere from $59 to $89 to watch one event. Saudi Arabia's Moneybag Turkey has recently slashed prices down to 1/3 of the regular cost. Jake Paul has brought us one of the biggest boxing events in history for free. Let's say you didn't like what Jake Paul and Mike Tyson turned out to be. As a boxing fan, you gotta love what Jake Paul brings to the undercard. Led by the incredible rematch between Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor and preceded by arguably 2 or 3 50-50 fights, the eyes and financials that Jake Paul and MVP bring to the sport will make it easier for the big fights we've always wanted to happen. Your boy Tank Davis? He will want to fight on Netflix. Canelo Alvarez? I know they beefing, but trust me, Canelo versus Jake Paul is happening.
Canelo, I'm coming, my puta. Hey!
In our lifetime regardless. All in all, as a fan of any sport, what we push for is the continued elevation of our given sport and the continued elevation of competition. The eyes, the buzz, and at the end of the day, the so-called controversy that Jake Paul brings to boxing is the best thing to happen to the sport in a very long time. And that's that on that. It's your boy, Dela Cruz. Support your boy at whatsyourhustle.com. And remember, in life, the only way to get to it is to go through it.
What's your hustle?